We'll put it like that.
Nice.
What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Cove's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And,
Awesome.
It was a great game. You could hear me on camera. I was just screaming, "Say it ain't so, Cove! Say it ain't so!" Sadly, from there, the game kind of went off the rails a little. That was the last high moment of that game, but it was a great game. Overtime loss, fun time.
Yeah.
But how was that moment for you? Seeing the first, whether it was on TV, in person, wherever you were, seeing his first NFL touchdown. How was that?
Well, dude, I mean, we were at home because it was a away game. We don't travel to a lot of the away games because we can get into that later. But, to watch that and to think I wished I was there live. So to have your video was so cool. And just that, man, this is so cool. I mean, that was so cool for us. Catching it from Tom Brady, right? Like, he's got the ball yet. First NFL touchdown means a lot, right? I mean, as a dad, that's so cool to see. And it was fun to watch. And it didn't have the outcome we wanted, but still the same. What a memory! What a memory to have, right? So,
and honestly,
cool.
those. One of the best guests ever, the Buccateers in the house tonight. You guys hear him on Tampa radio all the time. He's one of the best in the business. My favorite personal in the business. That's why I'm elated tonight. Growing up in the Chicago area, you're used to sports radio. That's what gets me through the day. So this man does help get me through the day, I will say, with the Pat and Aaron show at work. Nothing like it. So it's incredible. It looks like we got Stunna bumbling in. I'm Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like you got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
And he was trying to pull me in big time. And then I was like, nothing happened with Indianapolis yet. Like, I really want to give Indy a chance. And then also I talked to Cody Gruden, once he took over Rich McCann, I'm still like, well, look, I was like, y'all just give me the opportunity to explore free agency, see what's going on, and then can I make us do it.
All right, everyone, you are tuned into the Buccateers at wide receiver, Kalen Geiger, and we are about to have a great pod. This is the Buccateers. You're tapped in, and here we go. Howdy ho, howdy hey. How the hell is everybody? It's the Buccateers podcast returns. J-Lo, Tampa Tones, A-Cats here. Joey will be joining us shortly as well on an absolutely loaded show today with a lot of conversations to be had. Brick in the house saying, let's go, Brick. Thanks for being the first to comment on the episode. Love it. We have a lot to get to, so we'll welcome in the brothers right now. First of all, brother J-Lo, how the hell you doing? Happy Saturday, happy weekend to you, my friend.
Yes, sir. Happy Saturday. Glad to be back. Sorry about the other day, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm ready to talk some football, some off season. Here we go.
Hey, Cats, welcome in, brother. Looks like you're enjoying some nice outside weather, my friend. Hope all is well with you. Happy New Year to you, my friend.
I don't think you hear us.
Cats, try going out. We'll try bringing Cats back in. Cats, try exiting out and coming back in. I don't think he could hear us. We're going to work on getting A-Cats. It does look like a beautiful place he is at, though. But Puckhead saying, morning, boys, from Nebraska. So there we go. Our Nebraska native, J-Lo, actually sent us a package as well. We're going to do it in a different video after the show. It'll be uploaded on our Instagram page, but pretty excited to open that and see what we got for the Buccateers.
No, awesome. You can't go wrong with that, man. That's awesome with the fan package.
So there we go. Cats, can you hear us?
I can now, yes.
How you doing, brother? Happy New Year. Welcome into the show. Happy Saturday. How's everything going?
Thank you. Happy New Year. Yeah, everything's going all right. It'd be better if our season wasn't over, but here we are.
Yeah, we could have been playing today. We probably would have got the first time slot today as well. It probably would have been Tampa Bay against the Rams, or outside chance of Monday Night Football, but I think it probably would have been today. But here we are, fellas. Sadly, we are now in the Bucs off season. It's sad, but it's here. It's reality. So we got to keep going. We got to keep battling. And battle plan number one starts with offensive coordinator, apparently, gents. As we know, Cats and J-Lo, we discussed the other day, Zach and I, on our Thursday show, all the changes that kind of occurred, all the special teams coordinator let go, the offensive coordinator let go, a couple of coaches retiring, other assistants getting let go. Cats, now we're starting to finally hear potential Josh Grizzard replacements. One interview was already had virtually with former Titans head coach Brian Callahan, and I'll get into his background shortly. One coach rumored to interview soon is Zach Robinson, but outside of those two, who we'll break down here in a minute, Cats, who else would you personally like to see on the Bucs list of offensive coordinator candidates?
I like Nate Schulhaus better than any of them, to be honest with you. And in addition to him, though, Mike McDaniel, Todd Monken, I'm fine with any of those three. After that, I might be forgetting some names, but after those three, it gets a little dicey for me. I'm not a fan of either of the two that you mentioned. Zach Robinson in Atlanta did not have a lot of success. And Brian Callahan with the Bengals, I don't believe he even called the plays. And Tennessee, sure, not much talent, but so I don't mind them interviewing whoever they want. But the three I mentioned are the ones that I think would be best.
J-Lo, outside of Callahan and Robinson, are you with Cats? You got a couple candidates you like and you really want it to be one of them. We're going to break down Robinson and Callahan here shortly. So, but what outside of those two, who are candidates that kind of jump off the board at you that you're hoping at least get interviews?
No, I'm with Cats for the most part. Schulhaus is my top dog, of course. He's a lot of people's top choice for the matter. I will say Brian Dable's another one I would like to bring in. Experienced play caller. He did well with Josh Allen in Buffalo. So to me, I think he'd be a great fit as far as with Baker Mayfield. That's another name. Grant Uditsky, obviously, he'll get blocked for the interview. Cohen and Jackson are not going to do us any favors. So that was another one I was interested in. But to me, Schulhaus is the number one target, in my opinion. Then Mike McDaniel, number two.
Yeah, right now, a lot of the names you're hearing are Nate Schulhaus, obviously. He did interview last year for the job as well, ultimately didn't get it. And last year, it kind of felt like Grizzard was always the one they were going to hire, right? As J.C. Allen says, yo, Cleveland says, see you boys soon. J.C. says Udinski would come anyway. So, but Grizzard last year kind of felt like the guy from the beginning, right? Because they wanted to keep it in-house. They wanted to keep continuity. He looked good because he was a third down specialist. They did interview Schulhaus. They did interview Udinski last year. I don't think Udinski – I think he's going to stay in Jacksonville or go to a head coach gig. I think his next step in the NFL, if he takes one, will be a head coaching gig. I don't think it'll just be going somewhere to get new offensive coordinator duties personally. That's just
the Bucs interviewed him last year.
Yep.
He did get an interview, but he hasn't actually called plays at the NFL level, as bright as he is. So I wouldn't necessarily, he wouldn't be at the top of my list, even though I think he's very bright. As far as Liam blocking, well, Liam can go fuck himself, as far as I'm concerned, because the Bucs were the team that gave him his first opportunity to call plays in the NFL. And he even credited Todd Bowles with helping him to interview for the head coaching job. He had one interview, he got the job. He can go fuck himself. And I'm tired of our fans kissing his ass nonstop. I really am. I just wanted to put that out there. As great a coach as he is, and he is a great coach, I'm tired of everybody just kissing his ass as if he didn't Irish goodbye us the way he did. JC, I don't know about that. I mean, what's the 29-year-old? JC, let me ask you, a 29-year-old, soon to be 30-year-old, is concerned with the lack of aggressiveness for a GM. He's not exactly going to have the pick of the litter right now for head coaching jobs. I don't see why Jason's lack of aggressiveness would necessarily stop a candidate of hit like him from taking a head coaching job anyway. Here,
Yeah, well, it always gets a little mucky, and yeah, Liam Cohen. I mean, just the way he went out, he would have. I'm tired of people saying we didn't try and keep him around too, right?
We tried. We offered him the high, he exactly what he asked for and gave it to him and more. So I don't really know, it's gotten tiresome, Tones. Like you said, it's gotten really tiresome amidst this fan base. I even see some saying, "I'm done. I'm rooting for the Jags now." Really, these people can really go fuck themselves.
It's just a bunch of phony baloney fans out there not getting their way. If you don't like that Todd Bowles is a head coach, that's a you problem. JC, you should ask for the link before the show. Now that we're rocking and rolling, I'm going to final boss you and say, nah, not today. We love you, JC, but we got too packed of a show to be letting guys in with half the heart halfway through. J-Lo, what say you? I love the A-Cats rant personally.
No, I couldn't agree more. We know how certain Bucs fans are, mostly lately, want to hop on, saying we didn't try hard enough to get Liam Cohen back. That's not true. I guarantee you, if he would have came back to Light and been straight 100 with Light, I guarantee you Light probably would have went to the Glazers saying, "Hey, we're about to lose him. What do you want to do?" And I guarantee you, things would have been a lot different. That's just my opinion. I just feel Cohen did the most unprofessional dog way, the way he left, and made up some BS story. So that's why I'm not rooting for him. I hope they get blown out of the water tomorrow. I hope Buffalo goes in there and just puts a dagger in their fucking chest.
Yeah, and I think Buffalo will ultimately end the Jaguars season. I really do. I mean, and I will say this, the Jaguars front office already has a hot mess on their hands, as they made a pivotal mistake last draft by getting Travis Hunter. They way overpaid for him. They lost a plethora of picks. Hunter's not even here in the playoffs right now. So the Jags front office is just one of those front offices that have made mistakes to this point, and I think it comes back to haunt them. But we'll get into those. We're getting sidetracked. J-Lo's going into random games about the Jaguars here when we're talking about the Bucs offensive coordinator search. So let's wheel it back in, fellas, and keep our eye on the prize, just like the Bucs should. And I think Mike McDaniel would be the top of my list. Personally, if I had to pick a top guy, I would go McDaniel. I like Shieldhouse as well, but to me, I don't know if they're going to go with another inexperienced play caller, right? They just went with one in Josh Grizzard. I know Shieldhouse seems like a big booming candidate, and B, how long are the Rams going to be in it, right? Are the Bucs going to wait, and then Shieldhouse denies him, and by that time, next thing you know, there's no one left at the altar to hire. So I think those two factors play.
But he did well at Iowa State as a play caller, didn't he? I think he did well under Matt Campbell.
He did.
Yeah.
But, college level, NFL level, there is some parity there, but we'll see. I just think waiting that long could hurt them too. You know what I'm saying? Cats?
Oh yeah, I mean that's fair too. I mean you can request an interview with him as soon as next week, but it can only be virtual, assuming the Rams do win.
Yeah, JC says Atlanta went all in, and it didn't do them that well. Penix, just didn't do that well. I'm not quite sure on that point, because we are talking offensive coordinators here on the Buccateers in a loaded episode. We're going to start with Brian Callahan as our spotlight first and foremost, and I'm going to go over details as it is our first candidate here. Pierce is a stud, but Penix killed him. JC. It's no doubt. You ask any Atlanta Falcons fan, they'll tell you they might think Michael Penix is done. And they overpaid for him. They surely did. So, aggression isn't always better, right? Sometimes you're aggressive like the Jaguars and Falcons, and it doesn't pay off. Sometimes you're not aggressive like the Bucs. It doesn't pay off. It's one of those things.
We were aggressive when Brady was here. I know we didn't give up a lot of draft compensation, and that's just how it goes. We didn't have to. We did give up a third for JPP, and we gave up, a couple fourths for Gronk, and to make sure we secured Tristan Wirfs. So they were aggressive. So I don't know. Unfortunately, JC, I'll tell you this. I think part of the problem for the Bucs, something you don't see with the Eagles get all the compensatory picks because of when they let their free agents go and how much they sign. They have that formula down pat, and a couple teams do. So the Eagles had 11 picks this year. I think the Jags did too. So trading a pick when you have 11 of them is, is easier to stomach. I think when the Bucs have 7 draft picks, if you trade a mid-round pick, all of a sudden you're down to 6. I think that's got something to do with that. That's just my opinion. We'll never know.
Yeah, I agree. And of course he's not a bust, JC, but the trade obviously worked out for the Browns right now. Hunter is not a part of the Jaguars playoff roster. The Browns now have draft capital. The Browns have Mason Graham, who's very good. So the Jaguars are going to Jaguar in that aspect. Penix, yeah, I'm not ruling him out yet either, but dude, let's be real. That guy's one injury away from probably never playing football again. I do think the Bucs should be more aggressive in free agency, though. I don't really mind the draft not trading up and all that, because let's be honest, last year you trade up for what, right? Like, what were the Bucs have traded up for that makes it happy last year?
What was wrong with Ibuka? I mean, nobody, I know he had a tough second half of the season, but all of a sudden, does he not exist? I just, I agree with free agency. They need to be willing to dabble into that a bit more. And potentially, if you're trading for Max Crosby, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but then sure, that's a different story. Ditto Micah Parsons last year. Kudos to Green Bay for getting him. But otherwise, I don't, really have an issue with not picking James Pierce. I think we might have been able to pick him, heck of a player, but I don't know. I think Emeka Ibuka still has a very good future ahead of him.
Abraham Cherry tweeted into the program saying Shieldhouse helped multiple members of Iowa State, citing his endorsement for him. Stunna, our own co-host, saying into the show, Todd Monken or bust. So Stunna is labeling the search with Todd Monken or bust. I have Monken as number 4 on my list, or 3 or 4. I wouldn't hate Monken, but he's not a top 2 or 3. I'm sorry, that Ravens offense was a little too talented to end how they did this year, in my personal opinion. Not a major turnoff. And let's not forget, Baker Mayfield's worst year in his NFL career came with Todd Monken in 2019 with the Cleveland Browns, and Baker Mayfield threw over 20 interceptions. So I don't know if that's great for that. So we'll see. We're going to get into Brian Callahan and Zach Robinson, though, and Joey Nips as well. Joey, how you doing? Talking Bucs offensive coordinator candidates.
Yeah, doing very good. Ready for some playoff football, even though our teams aren't in it in a year that's a shame because it's wide open this year. So that's very shameful. I'll just say a little bit on Brian Callahan.
Well, we're going to get into Callahan here. I'm about to give – right now we're talking outside candidates, and we're going to really get into Callahan and Robinson here in the next couple segments.
Okie dokie.
So and who jumps off your eyes, I'm saying outside candidate-wise?
I got nothing right now on offensive coordinators. I'm just still pissed off from last season.
All righty, and that'll do it for Joey Nipso's suggestion. So, fellas, J-Lo, we'll start with you here. Brian Callahan, he's still a young mind in the league, only 41 years old, actually born in Champaign, Illinois. His extensive background, he went to UCLA College. He played quarterback at UCLA, then his coaching career, UCLA grad assistant from 06 to 07. Went to Junipero Serra High School as an offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach from 08 to 09. Broncos coaching assistant in 2010. Broncos offensive quality control coach from 2011 to 2012. Broncos offensive assistant from 13 to 15. Lions quarterbacks coach from 16 to 17. Raiders quarterbacks coach in 18. Bengals offensive coordinator from 2019 to 2023, and Titans head coach for the past 2 seasons. J-Lo, thoughts, comments, concerns? He helped the Broncos win a Super Bowl, and he helped the Bengals make a Super Bowl as an assistant head coach. Known candidate number 1, Brian Callahan.
I mean, you can't knock for his accomplishments. I just wasn't really impressed with him in Tennessee, even though he didn't have a lot of talent on the offense. I just feel if they do go with him, I won't knock it. I feel like he deserves another shot at play calling. But I just say, he's probably my 5th or 6th option, maybe even less. It just depends. But it's a good start.
I think it's a good starting point as well. Anytime you could interview a former head coach for a coordinator position, that could be a plus. I don't think he ends up getting the gig, but he does have layover ties with Kevin Carberry, and he did do a really good job in Cincinnati with that offense. Obviously not a leader of men just yet, at least. He proved that with Tennessee, but he's only 41 years old. I don't think he will be the hire, but Katz, if he were be the hire, I wouldn't be that upset about it.
I mean, I would assume, to be honest with you, and this isn't a knock on him, but it's going to sound like one, that if he were the hire, it meant everyone that they really wanted didn't take the job. To be honest with you,
I think it's an interview.
Yeah, he's worth an interview. But that's my guess, is that it would mean, because remember, Dave Canales was about their 10th choice because nobody, including Todd Monken, interviewed for the job. Nobody wanted it because Kyle Trask was the only quarterback on the roster, and Bowles was looked at as, even Bowles not necessarily looked at as a lame duck, but they didn't know who the quarterback was going to be. So Dave Canales was the only one that wanted the job. I think it's a lot more attractive now, despite how this season unfolded, regardless of what Bowles' status is. It's a more attractive offensive coordinator job now than it was in 2023. That I'm very confident in saying.
Yeah, Joey, do you pretty much agree with what everyone said? That he's a nice interview, but on the actual position, we'd rather see them go elsewhere.
Yeah, and I'll even go deeper. I mean, I'm just not a fan. I mean, you already mentioned the leader Menfart personality sucks. Yes, he was with the Bengals, but when Joe Burrow's healthy, my left nut could lead an offense. And then if you look at things before that, the Denver Broncos, when they went to the Super Bowl, that was a defensive-led team where they barely got above 21 points per game. So I'm not a big fan of this guy at all. In many respects, I don't think he gets the job done. Cam Ward looked better after he left. He looked miserable when he was there. You let go your coach and a guy who called offense, and that's what he was there for. And Cam Ward looked much better in the second half of the season under an interim head coach. So I think this would be a dog shit hire.
Yeah, at least he has proven he's a good coordinator, so I will give him that. Head coach is not great, but I don't think he's the guy. I personally just don't think he is. I didn't like the Titans hiring him as head coach either, just because if you have an offensive-minded head coach like the Bengals did, and you have an offensive coordinator who's really to, give credit for that success. So was it even Callahan in Cincinnati? Who knows? But his resume proves it. I think he'll go back to being an offensive coordinator somewhere. I just don't think it's with Tampa Bay. I think Todd Bowles needs to swing a little harder for the fences, and this guy doesn't do it for me either, but we will dip into Zach Robinson. Many familiar with him, 39 years young, out of Littleton, Colorado. Former quarterback at Oklahoma State, 7th-round pick for the Patriots in 2010, 250th overall, played with Seattle in 2010, Detroit in 2010 as well, before ending his career with the Bengals from 2011 to 2013. Coaching career, the Rams assistant quarterback coach in 2019, the Rams assistant wide receiver coach in 2020, Rams assistant quarterback coach once again in 2021, pass game coordinator and quarterbacks coach for 22 and 23 with the Rams, eventually following Raheem Morris to offensive coordinator for 24 and 25 with Atlanta. And let me remind you, Atlanta has blocked Ulbrich, their defensive coordinator, from interviewing elsewhere. They are letting Zach Robinson interview elsewhere. And Robinson had, they both have ties. That's what makes sense too, right? Because Kevin Carberry's tied with Brian Callahan. That's not as big of a tie. That's our offensive line coach. At least Robinson has overlapped with Baker. I still don't like this one, Joey, personally. I mean, outside of those Bucs games last year, Atlanta's offense didn't do – I mean, the Rams game, okay, they showed a little bit. But those 3 games, Atlanta's offense is kind of stagnant for most of the season, regardless if it was Penix or Cousins.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I mean, this is going to happen, right? You interview over a dozen people. I mean, we're here from Chicago. They interviewed 15 guys for head coach. Half of them I wouldn't sniff. They got Ben Johnson. So you got to do your due diligence. I don't know a ton about Zach Robinson. I do know his names come up a lot in this cycle, but that is just what it is right now. It's an interview. You get your feet wet. You see what they can do. 30 one thing I missed on, which I couldn't agree more, and I'll keep it very short. I don't want to go back too far in time, but the Liam Cohen stuff. Yeah, if you're a Bucs fan, you're gonna go jump ship and be a fan of the Jaguars. Go ahead. You might as well move to that dog shit city as well and really support them at the same time, because Liam Cohen's won one division, yes, but Jacoby Myers, their GM, really helped with that, make that move. And Liam Cohen, he'll have his fun now, but this is the peak. When Buffalo beats them tomorrow, they're going down. Anyways, Zach Robinson, Tones, like you said, you said the proof in the pudding right there. Just to me, an interview, I can't knock him too much as I did Callahan because I don't see it every day like I do in the AFC South. But just 2 interviews, and we'll move on from both, I think.
Yep, and just last point on Liam Cohen, even Ben Johnson, right? I want to throw him in there. It's like Bears fans and Jags fans, settle. Remember when Mike McDaniel was viewed as the last hierarchy just 2 seasons ago? Mike McDaniel was just as popular as these young men. Now he's out of a job. It seems really good in year 1, which is great. Look at Dan Quinn last year, rejuvenated himself in Washington. Year 2 is a true measuring stick. So right now, I think Cohen and Ben Johnson are playing with house money. In year number 2, you'll really be able to see what type of coaches these guys are, leader men these guys are, and so forth. Joey, I do think Robinson is just an interview as well. I agree there. Kat's thoughts on Robinson being in Atlanta? Needle for me personally.
Me either. Baker worked with him in LA, so I think, I'll be honest, what I think is, you've got multiple openings. I guess assuming he leaves Atlanta, because whoever goes in there is going to pick a new OC. He wasn't successful in Atlanta. If he can get an OC job and you want to hire him as your quarterback coach, go ahead. But I wouldn't want him calling the plays.
I agree. And a quarterbacks coach / pass game coordinator, something along those lines, right? Like, sure, why not? And I was a little shocked by Thad Lewis getting let go, but hey, I just think he felt brunt of, just being there for a while now. I don't know.
I was surprised by that too. Obviously, Baker had such a poor second half of the season. So I guess, Thad, they decided to pick someone else along with Josh Grizzard to go, and it was Thad Lewis. I was a little surprised by that too, though. I didn't really see that coming. I'm sure they sat down with Baker, and he must have, they must have asked him about that, I'm guessing, because otherwise I didn't. Thad was a hot name last year. He was talking, how quick it can turn, from being your hot name to be an OC to you're fired. It's just that quick in this league.
Really quick is the Godfather checking in saying Icewater Olsen, our guy JT, what's up, y'all? J-Lo put a bow on this Bucs offensive coordinator known candidate search thus far, Zach Robinson being the last of the 2 outside of Callahan.
I wouldn't mind bringing him in as the QB coach just because familiarity with Baker Mayfield.
So you're like Cats there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I said you're like Cats there, yes.
Oh, yeah, my bad. I thought you could hear me. No, I say QB coach. I agree with Cats. I think that would be a better fit, not calling the plays. I just wasn't impressed with him in Atlanta. He just couldn't get nothing going with the talent that he had, and Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, and so forth. So to me, I feel he'll be a QB coach either here or somewhere else, to get back on his feet.
Yeah, and our guy Abraham tweets in again to the show. Thanks for continued tweets into the show. And he continues to support his support for Nate Shieldhouse. So that's another big name. We'll see where this goes. Going to be an interesting one. So far, you got Callahan and Robinson. Then you got Mike McDaniel. Then you got a lot of other guys. I guess Mike McDaniel right now is in the happiest place on earth as well, allegedly. He's in Disney, which is up the road from Tampa. So we can maybe connect the dots there on Mike McDaniel being up the road right now from Tampa in the happiest place on earth. The Dolphins
will be in Detroit soon, isn't he? Didn't Detroit interview him?
Yeah. Yep. They're interviewing him either yesterday or today. And then I know Monday, I think the Browns are interviewing him, or the Titans. He's getting a head coach interview as well.
I think the Titans, head coach possibly. Yeah.
Joey, some other football news and notes before we get to the playoffs. We're going to do a quick roundtable here. The Dolphins are interviewing Seahawks Clint Kubiak for their head coach opening. Also, they reach out to Harbaugh to set up an interview. Where do you think Miami ends up going?
Yeah, here's the problem with Miami. I'm not a huge McDaniel fan as a head coach, but I think, in Miami, if you actually break it all down, you let him go. What's the replacement thought there? Harbaugh, if you don't get Harbaugh, you're probably not going to do much better than that. I know one of these young names can emerge and become better, but look at your quarterback situation. Tua Tagovailoa had to be benched. I think him and guys like Kyler Murray are going to be on the move this offseason. And he won a game with Quinn Ewers. I hit one of them. Obviously, you guys saw it against Tampa. I'm not saying the offense for them was superb, but don't forget they also lost Tyreek Hill earlier in the season, and they kind of had a mess in Miami. So to me, they're going to need somebody with strong leadership skills down there, i.e. Harbaugh or Mike McCarthy, I think would be a good fit for them, because really there seems to be no structure and leadership. I would love McDaniels as an offensive coordinator, especially I think Detroit and Tampa Bay make the most sense. One, Detroit, look at them last year where they were with Ben Johnson. I think Campbell needs to focus a little bit more on head coaching. And then number two, if you look at Tampa Bay, you can see the writing on the wall where if it didn't go well, he could easily maybe step up into a head coaching role there as well. So like that on those fronts. But when it comes to Miami, I think they need a leader of men. I think I would restart. Like I said, I would trade Tua and then get somebody who can coach these boys down there, because it just seems like their structure and their foundation isn't set at all.
Fuck it. If I'm the Raiders or Dolphins, and if I'm Dolphins, I swing and miss on Harbaugh, right? I try and get for Harbaugh, leader of men, clean it. But if not, maybe reach out to like a Kurt Signetti just to get a leader of men into that house, into that program, clean up a little bit. If you're the Raiders or Dolphins just needing for an ass chewer in the locker room, leader of men, Kurt Signetti might be a name to pop up for some of these teams if we get closer. Cats, another one. Cleveland Browns is open. Todd Monken interviewing for their job. Mike McDaniel interviewing for their job. To me, Todd Monken isn't a head coach at this point in his career, but thoughts on what the Browns do, Cats?
Well, it's certainly not the most attractive of the job openings, I would say. And I think, Monken's now over 60. I don't know if I'd have him as a head coach at this point either, but if someone's going to take the job, I just don't think they're going to get a big name necessarily in Cleveland. They're going to have to go more under the radar when it comes to hiring their head coach. I don't know who that could be, but, I don't think Cleveland is necessarily going to be on the top of any prospective head coaches list.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them, and in that division as well. Our guy Icewater Olsen saying Jake Peetz and Nick Charlton. He's big on. Peetz was Seattle's pass game coordinator. Charlton was Cleveland Browns pass game coordinator, both under the age of 40. Peetz has interviewed with the Bucs before, or at least is rumored to. Charlton is kind of an up-and-comer. That's the thing. I don't think the Bucs want to go with another new OC, personally. I think they're going to go with someone who at least has a little bit of experience. And again, nothing to hold against Josh Grizzard and some real good candidates out there. To me, as long, as you've been an NFL OC, I think it makes sense. And I'm not taking it against the other guys, but they got to get this one right. Say if Todd Bowles hires Jake Peetz and Nick Charlton, even somebody else, and they backfire by week 4 or 5, things could get really ugly in Tampa Bay. At least if you hire Mike McDaniel, a Todd Monken type, and they could learn the roles, and try and fight the course. So J-Lo kind of put a bow. I'm going to give you Matt Ryan being named the head of the Falcons search pretty much for GM and head coach, and he's going to be president of football operations in Atlanta, it seems like.
Well, it was time for a change. Atlanta wasn't making right decisions on bringing in a GM candidate who pretty much just screwed them over the next couple seasons. So Matt Ryan, shout out to him. He had a great career in Atlanta. What a way to go in there and be a leader in the front office, to go in there and hire the right people. So I think that's they're heading the right direction now with him taking over, making the, promising decisions to help make this team better.
Yeah, I don't really mind a Charlton one as much, JT. That's the little, and Shieldhouse as well, but that's what concerns me more so about the Jake Pietzes of the world, the other assistant coach, even Yadinsky, right? He's never really, the guys who haven't called plays are the ones that concern me. And I do think Charlton's resume is extensive. I don't know if it'll be enough to get him into the door, but I do like his resume as well. I think he needs a few more turns elsewhere, though, to be an offensive coordinator. But a bunch of intriguing names. I don't think there's any bad choice, bad candidate. Our guy, Daniel Beebe, saying, do you think Callahan interview?
Gonna have to go back and listen.
Yep, we talked about it at the beginning of the program. Cignetti, yeah, all the coaches say that, but if Cignetti wins one title in Indiana, I mean, I remember Harbaugh saying he would never leave Michigan, right? And then he wins at Michigan, and next thing you know, he leaves. So college coaches, once they hit the cream of the crop and win a championship, I could see Cignetti moving on. I'm not saying he will, but I could see it. Marcus Freeman, once he wins at Notre Dame, I could see him moving on. You check the box of winning a championship. What else is left at college? We are here, and the Buccateers will be back Monday night as well with our Man Cave Mondays, Zach and I. We're going to be doing a lot of shows this year. Katz and I will be getting back into our history, into the 813. J-Lo and Joey and I will have a new fun show in the off season. So we'll have a lot of fun here in 2026 as we keep rocking and rolling here on the Buccateers. And since we were talking about Curt Cignetti, the college championship is set. Indiana versus Miami in Miami. Kind of funny, right? Because a lot of Bucs fans are Miami fans. So now Tampa could be the quote-unquote road team in Tampa to win a Super Bowl. And Joey, Miami perhaps, quote-unquote, the road team in Miami to win a college football playoff.
Yeah, I'll start with them because I want to talk a little longer on Indiana. Kudos to Miami. They deserve it. They had a hard path. They beat Ohio State, the defending champs. Carson Beck. A lot of people gave shit, including me, at the beginning of the year. And even though they have a good defense, he's getting the job done with a good run game as well. So kudos to them. But, we talked about Cignetti, and that's just what every team wants in their locker room, right? This guy finds a way to motivate his team every week. That game yesterday, Oregon was not a much worse team than Indiana. If you look back at their first regular season game, it was very close. This guy has his boys motivated to play. They were flying off the ball. That pick six yesterday, the game was over right after that, essentially. You could see the momentum and everything going in that direction because he has his men ready to play. Similar to Brian Campbell Campbell in Detroit when he got his guys going. When you have the right coordinators in place, you head coach and you teach these guys. I know football and college are different games, but Ben Johnson has a little bit of that as well, where he just gets in there and he finds a way to motivate these guys week after week. And I think that's so unappreciated. A lot of people think, head coaches about X's and O's. Not really. Even if they call the plays, you got to find a way to motivate people above the age of 18 every single day to keep going and wanting to. Indiana's been undefeated for the whole season. Yep, they keep using things. What were they ranked in the preseason? What was stupid people like Paul Feinbaum, who should never have a job in his life because he said once an SEC team gets eliminated, he's done. Hope they can him at ESPN. Cignetti is doing this. They're going to finish this job. They're going to win the national title. And it is in Miami's house. But Indiana looked like they had a home game yesterday. It was about 85% red in that building. So this thing won't stop. And like you said, when a team wins a national title, I'm intrigued too as well. I know Cignetti, I listen to Indy radio every day because I'm a Colts fan. He always said he's going to stay there, but once you win a title, what is really left to build on there? So you never know. But I love what Indiana is doing. This is one of the biggest stories in sports history from a crap franchise for everybody here our entire lives. Indiana has been dog crap for 99% of it. So I think Indiana rolls, but good story, Miami.
And that's why I love the expanded college football playoffs. It gets teams like Indiana. Like, if the college football playoffs stayed at 4 teams, who knows if Indiana ever even gets to hire Curt Cignetti, right? Because their odds of making it to the playoffs would be so damn slim. The fact of the matter that the college football playoffs expanded, and then a team like Indiana, it's like, okay, guys, we win 10 games. We're probably in. So it opened up the mentality for so many college football programs, and that's what I personally like about the college football expanded playoffs. Now you're seeing a lot of these teams that you never heard of before, or not never heard of, but never heard of being good at football before, like in Indiana, coming out, dominating all year, And that is one kudos and tip of the cap I will give to college football. It could revive a program. You're starting to see U of I revive now too, right? So some of these programs that seem dead forever at one point, Indiana's U of I's of the world in football, cats, are suddenly taking college football to the next level. And now we see Indiana in the championship with Miami.
Yeah, you got to give Kurt Cignetti a ton of credit. I saw a photo of him, I saw a photo of him on the sideline, pissed off. I think they were up 31-7. I mean, you gotta love that. The coach never, when a coach is never satisfied, they're doing a great job. You got a 31-7 lead. I'd be sipping some champagne or something. He's looking pissed, like I want more. Basically, is what I'm thinking. Looking at that, so good on him and good on Indiana.
Yeah, I'm in Indiana. I like the Big Ten. Big Ten's my favorite conference, so I do.
As long as they rename it with the million teams they've got now.
Well, freaking every conference just needs to be renamed.
That's another story.
The Atlantic isn't really the Atlantic anymore. They got Pac teams over there. The Pac is turning into the Mount West. The Big Ten's the Big 20. The Big 12's the Big 18. It's like, I don't know what the hell. The SEC is turning into not just Southeast. It should be called the USA. So it is crazy. You guys see Yahoo report Harbaugh. I mean, Harbaugh's going to vet all his options. I don't blame him for breaking down every QB of every team or every situation, right? I mean, it sounds silly, but I would literally peel the onion on every single team. Remember Sean Payton? Nobody thought he'd go to Denver. Everybody was saying he'd go here, he'd go here, he'd go here. He went to Denver, and look at how quick he turned Denver around. So some of the unlikely, I wouldn't go to New York personally if I'm Harbaugh. I think Joe Schoen is a disaster GM with the Giants, but hey, he is a top pick.
He wants his GM. If reports are to be believed, and I believe them, that the Bucs did inquire, he wanted his own GM. That's a non-starter. The light should be the GM here. I do believe he'll also become the highest paid head coach. Harbaugh will at this point. He'll parlay it into becoming the highest paid NFL head coach, and he'll go where he can handpick his GM. I can't remember the name now of who he liked, but that is one thing about.
What you're talking about, though. Yeah, he has a handpick option.
Right. I don't think, and Miami hired a GM already. So I don't know if that's in mind. And I also think Harbaugh's waiting to see if possibly if Buffalo and or Green Bay lose. It's been rumored that McDermott and LaFleur are not necessarily safe, which LaFleur's especially weird to me. I think he's a great coach. McDermott, I could see maybe them saying, all right, it's time to move on. So Harbaugh's probably waiting and looking to see if either of those two come open, because those would be, if you want a place that you don't have to do any sort of rebuild and the quarterback's in place, they might want him. They might look at him as the proverbial final piece, and he might want to go there. So I'm sure that's part of why he's waiting still.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we're at a weird point in time, too, where some of these teams are just so fixated on the next up-and-comer young head coach that guys like Harbaugh, Sean Payton, Andy Reid's of the world get pushed back a little bit. And then look at Denver. They landed Sean Payton with open arms when they weren't the top choice to go. And, some team could get lucky with Harbaugh out there, too, just because they're going to floor the money for a young guy who's unproven. J-Lo, take us home on the championship. Paul, I know you're a little late. I mentioned Curt Cignetti coming to the NFL. I'm the one who mentioned Curt Cignetti coming to the NFL, not to the Buccaneers. I said watch his name for the Raiders or for other franchises if he wins a national title. Daniel wasn't the one who mentioned Cignetti coming. That was me. But go on, J-Lo. Take us home on the college football talk.
I mean, Cignetti's going to have a statue at Indiana for what he's done. So shout out to him and his accomplishment. And I do agree, if he wins the championship, I don't see why he wouldn't take, the next step to the NFL. And Miami, you got to give them their props. I mean, I doubted them from the get-go. I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs. I didn't think they were going to be A&M. I didn't think they were going to be Ohio State. And they proved me wrong. So, shout out to them. They earned their way up there the hard way, getting to the playoffs. And it's going to be a fun game to watch. But I do like Indiana. I like where they're at. I like their attitude. I know they're going to be ready to play for Curt Cignetti and try to win a natty for Indiana. So I'm all for it. Let's go. Tons can't hear.
Spread's about 7.5 in that one right now. It looks like. We'll see if the line moves, but I'm seeing 7.5 in most places for Indiana, Miami at this point in time. That'll do it for college football talk. We're on to the NFL playoffs here on the Buccateers. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe button, turn that notification bell on. We do appreciate it. If you want to become a member, we appreciate that. They're cheap memberships. We just got coasters in. All of our Buccateers YouTube members will be getting a set of coasters. All the Buccateers podcasters will be getting coasters. Those just came in. Like I said, we got some mail to open up post-show on our Instagram, which is great. We appreciate it, and so much more. We're going to now get into the NFL playoffs. Joey, we're going to all break down different games here. We're all going to take turns predicting same games here. I'm sorry about that. Packers, Bears to start, though. What say you? Packers, Bears will be a fun one to kick things off tonight. Al Michaels on the call. A little bit of Thursday night football vibes on a Saturday. Luckily, we're local because we don't have to flush out to Amazon Prime for it, too.
Yeah, hopefully Al Michaels takes the little blue pill to get him a little more excited if we have a good finish.
Come on!
I'm sorry. I love the guy to death. One of my favorites, but, I mean, it's like he's just ready. He already got announced for next season, too, but let's get that pizzazz back for the playoffs, Mr. Al. But breaking down this game, I mean, Green Bay's lost 4 in a row and Micah Parsons, and a lot of people are on Green Bay. If you see the spread, it's been between 1.5 on both sides of the ball. So people clearly still don't believe in Chicago, which, hey, I can't fully blame. They haven't had the postseason experience. Even though I do like Ben Johnson a lot, Caleb, it will be his first playoff game. He also didn't play in a college football playoff. So I see where maybe the concern can come into play, but they are at home. It doesn't look like there will be rain and snow like originally said at the game tonight. It will be dry by game time, according to reports right now. So I'm very intrigued by this one. It's hard for me to get a good read and a good feel because at the end of the day, Jordan Love usually has stepped up in the moment in these playoffs, especially on the road once before. So it's going to come down to the wire. For Bears fans, they probably don't want it to come down to a Santos field goal, as the last time, big playoff game happened with a field goal. It was the double doing, so they want to avoid that. If you're the Bears, run the damn football. You got a good offensive line. They just had 2 of them named to the All-Pro team there. So run the ball with your running backs. Don't allow Caleb to have too many plays where bad things could happen. And then you want me to give a prediction or not just yet? Just break down.
You could give prediction.
Man, I've been back and forth on this one. I'll say fuck. I'll go Bears by 3. I don't like my prediction. I think I'm going with more of my heart here for my mom and some of my Bears friends, to be quite honest with you. But that's where I lay at the moment.
This one is back and forth. I will say, when you actually break down the 2 Bears-Packers games, Packers have outcoached the Bears for 59 minutes of the football games. That's not even a question. A fluke onside kick, right, cost the Packers a victory with their backup QB. So no doubt that Matt LaFleur right now is Ben Johnson's number. That's a proven fact before they step on the field today, just based on what we've seen.
And these 2 coaches don't like each other at all. That's what I know about it.
That's what I don't think. Ben Johnson was not very smart there. When you go, right, your franchise gets your ass kicked up and down by Green Bay for decades. You don't go in there and say, oh, I run this town. I run this right. No, Benny. You got to prove yourself. You're lucky that Jordan Love got hurt, or you'd be 0-2 against these Green Bay Packers right now. So, Cats, although I get the Ben Johnson love and I get why Bears fans love him, but he's got to pump the brakes, and he's got to go out there and done something he hasn't done yet this year, and that's outcoach Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur is 2-0 and outcoaching Ben Johnson so far this season.
Yeah, I like Green Bay in this game. I do admire Ben Johnson's swagger. I think the Bears sorely needed that. That's probably an understatement to say that they needed that. But even without Micah Parsons, that second meeting, it took a lot for the Bears to come away victorious. Jordan Love is healthy this time. I just don't see, the Bears being able to beat the Packers for the second time. It would be probably second time in 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whatever. When, I give them credit for winning that game, but it took a lot for that to happen. I think it'll be a close game, but I like Green Bay.
J-Lo, what say you? And I think it's going to be a great game, phenomenal game as well. Like I said, Malik Willis almost sealed the deal for Green Bay last time. I'll be interested to see Jordan Love if he could get his revenge. As I agree with Puckhead. To me, a dry game helps the Packers in this one immensely. I think that's advantage to Green Bay. Chicago wants to look to keep the ball on the ground, right? Green Bay likes to get it through the air a little bit. So I think favor Green Bay right there. Bonomo saying bear down. Your Packer friend, Packers by 4. Tones is right. 59 minutes plus Packers were winning. And that's just my biggest takeaway through the first 2 games is Bears got outcoached. Bears got outplayed for 59 minutes of 2 football games, J-Lo. That's my biggest concern if I'm a Bears fan, that the Packers have numbers so far this year.
No, exactly. And plus, playoff experience. Jordan Love has been to that next level in the divisional round. He went to Dallas a couple of years ago and knocked them out of the playoffs. So that's another factor I'm going to throw in there as well, is experience. And to me, I feel the Packers got this game in the bag. I'm not saying they're going to blow them out, the Bears out, but I like the Packers' chances of time of possession, keeping the Bears offense off the field, and I like the Packers winning by a field goal to go to the next round.
Hey, Jaden Daniels didn't have experience when he put up 50 in Detroit last year. I just want to mention that.
Yeah, but Ben Johnson's head wasn't in the right place, doing crazy plays, turning the ball.
No,
over.
fair. I just want to.
Aaron Glenn, wasn't in the right place, and let's just not forget, Green Bay has dominated the first 2 games, and I think they'll pull this one out again. I think it'll be a good game, but I think Bears fans need a little humble pie. They're a little too on top of the world right now. And what's funny is the ones that laugh at Mike McDaniel like he's not that great of a coach. Like he just wasn't Ben Johnson 2 years ago when they hung 70 points on the Broncos. And everybody was like, this is the next guy. So I think it's going to be a hell of a game. As people alluded to, you could be on both sides. There's been rookie QBs to go out there. Well, Caleb's not a rookie, but might as well be what Eberflus is your head coach last year. So I think it'll be a back and forth game. I think it's going to be a slobber knocker. I think Packers ultimately win a close one. I just think that Matt LaFleur one-ups Ben Johnson, and I think Matt LaFleur ends up out-coaching Ben Johnson. And I think Green Bay wins this game, not by much. I think it's going to be a 6-point game or less. I think it's going to be an ugly one. And usually if you lose your best player, like a Micah Parsons, you don't even have a chance in a game like today. But Green Bay's defense has been so good. That's why their defensive coordinator is going to probably get a head coaching job out there too, because of how good they've done. So that's going to be the best game of the weekend potentially to me. Packers, Bears. Moving on, Rams, Panthers, Joey. Panthers getting 9.5 points at home. Looks like it might be some ugly weather out there as well.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I've seen the Panthers a couple times now. They do not impress me. They're lucky to be in the playoffs since the Bucs shit the bed so bad. Panthers beat the Rams the first time. Don't give a shit at all. Rams will blow them out today. Bryce Young has about 110 yards passing in his last 2 games, and the Rams defense won't bold for that, and they'll get after him. So I think the Rams win by at least 14.
Yeah, I'm on the Rams here as well. I think the Rams as well. Pops texted in about the Cohen thing earlier. I agree with Katz. Liam Cohen can go F himself, go Bills. Wow, so there you have it. I'm on the Rams too. I think they win by about 10. That's what was funny last week too. I had people asking me, are you more mad at the Falcons or Saints? I'm like, neither. I'm more mad at the Bucs because they've had every opportunity to win a damn football game, and they didn't do that. So the Bucs have nobody to blame for not playing today besides themselves, Kat. But I think Rams in this one as well. What say you?
Yeah, I see the Rams having no problem this time. I know they lost the earlier meeting. A very surprising upset, and I give Carolina credit for pulling that game out, being opportunistic. I don't see that happening again. The Rams, looks like Devontae Adams will be back. That's big for them. And I see them winning this one by a couple scores.
Yeah, that's a doubleheader today. Once again, Rams, Panthers, 4:30, Packers, Bears, 8 p.m. Amazon Prime tonight. Bears, Packers is tomorrow, Joey. We got, or J-Lo, I'm sorry. Take us home with Rams, Panthers, J-Lo. Take it home.
Short and sweet. Panthers are going to get blown out of their own stadium today by the Rams because the Rams are the better football team and they are ready to go compete for a championship. The Panthers are lucky to be in there. Like you said, the Bucs beat the Bucs, and that's why the Panthers are in the playoffs and not us.
Mr. H, we alluded to that earlier as well. Packers lose. Matt LaFleur could be gone, right? And that same with Tomlin, same with Bills, McDermott. There's a couple head coaches out there who could be gone if they lose. So that's something to keep an eye on between Tomlin, McDermott, Matt LaFleur. If they go down today, tomorrow, this weekend, another great head coach candidate could be on the market. We did talk about that briefly earlier. Joey, tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern, Buffalo travels to Duval. Jaguars favored by 1.
Yeah, and Green Bay would be making a huge mistake if they did that. But going on to this game,
that would be idiotic to me.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Allen has to get it done this season.
Buffalo makes sense to me if they lose round 1.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Sean McDermott, first off, look at the defense. Like, that defense hasn't been really that good in years, and they haven't done they brought in different players and tried to mix things up a little bit. McDermott would make total sense if they lose tomorrow and shit the bed. But Josh Allen has to really – he doesn't have to get it done this season, but this is your best opportunity. Mahomes is obviously out. Lamar's obviously out. Burrow is too. I know these good defenses and stuff, but there's a lot of new blood with Bo Nix and Drake May in the playoffs. Buffalo has to get it done tomorrow, and that's why I think they win. Jacksonville, hey, they have been very impressive, but that cockiness, that streak, he can take his grills. I saw they gave Trevor Lawrence a set of grills after the last game or whatever. I think they're getting a little too cocky in the AFC, and I think Buffalo goes in there. It's going to be a good football game, but Josh Allen doesn't lose in the wild card round, and they'll take it home.
And again, like you mentioned earlier, Joey, although they're not rookies, who's going to be the next Jaden Daniels? Trevor Lawrence has a chance to maybe be this year. I don't think he is, though.
Well, don't forget, he did have that big game against the remember they were down like 3 scores against the Chargers, and they came all the way back. I forget when that was.
Yeah, and then I think they lost the next round, right?
Yep.
So he's looking to make a mini run. I just don't think it comes this year. I mean, I think they had a really tough draw. Buffalo round 1. I think Jaguars could have won against a lot of these AFC teams round 1. I don't think it's against Buffalo. What say you, Cats? I'm going with the Bills.
It pains me to do, but unfortunately, I like Jacksonville in this game. And the reason I like Jacksonville in this game, I just feel, and people would probably say I'm making excuses for Josh Allen. I'm not. It just feels like so much of what the Bills do was predicated on go ahead, Josh Allen, put your cape on. The talent level at their wide receiver position, doesn't exactly wow me. They run the ball well. They have James Cook. I think they have Dalton Kincaid. They've been defensively underwhelming. They by far, Josh Allen's the best player on the field, but easily. I mean, 2 teams. He's the best quarterback. He's the best player in this game. However, I think in terms of talent all across the board, I think the Jags have them beat there, and I think that's going to be enough for the Jags to pull out a win. And you're right. That would be very tough to swallow if you're a Bills fan. If you're Josh Allen, when you have no Mahomes, you don't have Lamar Jackson, you don't have Joe Burrow out there to lose and not, have it be your year. But I just don't like the team that the Bills are putting out there around him. Seems to be the weakest of this iteration of the Bills. It looks like the weakest team that they put out there. So I think the Jags will win. I do hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, they're relying a lot on the legs of Cook and Allen in Buffalo, and if you shut down the run, it's hard for them to move the ball through the air. I still got faith in them, but man, what games? Bears, Packers, Bills, Jaguars, even Rams at Panthers in that weather condition. But no, Mo texting in the snow right now doesn't make last week's rain look that bad in Tampa. J-Lo, take us home. Buffalo, Jacksonville. Who is you picking?
I'm going to go with the Bills. I know they haven't been really presentable this season. I still believe Josh Allen can pull out a strong victory over Jacksonville. And I'm not just saying it because I can't stand Cohen. We already know we all hate the piece of shit. But for the most part, to me, I just feel Josh Allen, this is his last chance to make a run. And I think he's going to get it done and get the win tomorrow.
Agreed. So far we're all on the Rams. Joey Lone Wolf, the Bears. Cats Lone Wolf, the Jaguars. Heading into 4:30 Eastern tomorrow. This is another great game, Joey. 49ers +6 on the road in Philly. +6 seems like a lot.
Yeah, and these are two teams that could potentially be in the Super Bowl, but when you break it down a little bit further with San Francisco, yes, they've done an amazing job with all the injuries on the defensive side that they've had. Rob Saleh's brought them together, but when they play good teams, they seem to crack. If you watched any of that game last week against Seattle, their offense, after being so good for weeks, kind of went under the weather. They were playing a good defense. And then when they play good offenses, usually they find a way to let up a lot of points. So I was very, very back and forth with this game, but I am going to take the Eagles, especially being at home. I know the 49ers have been there before against Philly when they lost not only Brock Purdy, but Josh Johnson in the same game. But when the 49ers seem to play up against really good competition, they seem to let down a little bit. So give me Philadelphia.
And that cross country is just tough too, right? Going all the way from West Coast to East Coast. It's probably going to be chilly there. I just think the best coach in the NFL resides in San Fran, and I think he's going to will him past Philly. I don't think it's going to be easy. This game's a true toss. I think this Bears, Packers, these are all toss-ups, man. I mean, it's hard to predict, but I'm going to go with San Fran just because I do think Shanahan's the best coach in football. I think he's on the phone with Papa right now saying, help me, please. And I think they figure something out. But, man, what a round we have. I can't remember this many absolute slobber knockers, it seems like, A-Cats. And yet another good battle, Philly at San Fran at Philly. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the 49ers they've done Salah and Jen have done such a great job given all the injuries they've had on both sides of the ball. I don't think Trent Williams is playing in this game. If I'm not mistaken, if he's out, I just think it's too steep of a hill to climb for the Niners, even though they've been able to climb and get this far. So I like the Eagles. The Eagles are the healthier team. And in the end, that's usually oftentimes what determines the winners and losers in the playoffs. And I think the Eagles will win it.
I liked it. It
looks like Trent Williams and Pearsall are both questionable, but Trent Williams leaning a little worse than Pearsall.
Mm-hmm. That's a tough one to overcome.
Yep.
Two big injuries as they've been riddled all year. Just unfortunate for San Fran. Weird that McCaffrey stayed healthy, actually, for them. J-Lo, take us home. Niners travel to Philly.
Well, with Trent Williams being out, that's going to be very difficult against
questionable right now, leaning towards out, but
well, that's the way to me it's looking. Even if he does play, he's not going to be 100%. So to me, I let the home team. I let Philly at home. They got more healthier players, and I'm confident that it'll be a close one for sure. But the Eagles just run away within the fourth quarter and advance in the next round.
All righty, so I'm Lone Wolf on San Fran. Every game we have one Lone Wolf out there somewhere. And right now, I Lone Wolf San Fran. Moving on, got a couple more games left to go over here on the Buccateers. Sunday night and Monday night football. Sunday night, Joey, Chargers +3.5 at New England.
Yeah, I feel like everyone is kind of just picking New England in this game and kind of moving on, which I probably will do the same, but a John Harbaugh team in the playoffs usually finds a way to lock down pretty good, no matter – excuse me, Jim. But finds a way to lock down pretty good there. So I think this is going to be a lot closer game than people might think. New England has had a very soft schedule, especially in the second half, which kind of helped them roll along. So I think this is going to be an ugly game, maybe like a 20-17. But New England finds a way just to edge it out, but they're going to have to sweat this one out at home, being the 2 seed.
Yeah, Joey the GOAT, B-Rabbit says. Joey the GOAT.
Thank you, Brian Cook. Thank you.
B-Rabbit in the house. What say you, Cats? You agree with Joey?
I think it'll be a close game as well, but I do think New England wins. Chargers are still playing, I don't know how many backup offensive linemen, and you got to give Justin Herbert a ton of credit for that. But I just feel in the playoffs that catches up to you. New England, from what I've seen, has been able to stay relatively healthy this season. And playing at home, I'll take the Pats in this one. Close game, but I like New England.
Joe or Jayla, what say you?
You can't go wrong with Mike Vrabel either with his experience in the playoffs. He's taken the Titans to the AFC Championship game before, so that's another thing to look into as well. But I like the Patriots at home. Not in a big one, but definitely they'll run away in the fourth quarter as well at home. Patriots.
Only thing that concerns me with the Patriots right now, a couple legal situations going on, right? Stephon Diggs getting in some trouble, Barrymore getting in some trouble. So just a couple of weird stories out, and obviously they might not be guilty, but, you know, whenever there's smoke in the playoffs, there's just drama, never a great sign. With that being said, I'm still going with the Patriots to take care of business on Sunday night football. I'll kick off Monday Night Football. I'm going with Pittsburgh over Houston. I think Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers gut it out, tough it out, figure out how to take down Houston. I was very impressed with Pittsburgh getting into the playoffs, and I think they start out with a Monday night win in the playoffs. And let's see, the spread in that one is Pittsburgh +3. I like Pittsburgh straight up in that one, Joe.
Yeah, and I don't, just because, I mean, Pittsburgh had a pretty good year indeed, but this Houston defense is relentless. You almost, even if the Texans offense struggles, which if they get to 20 points, to me, they win this game. And that's where just I lie with it. When Pittsburgh plays, sometimes their defense shows up, sometimes not as much. Sometimes their offense shows up, sometimes it doesn't. You know what you're getting with Houston. That's going to be good defense and mediocre to a little above average offense. I think Houston goes in there and wins a close one.
What say you, Cats?
Yeah, Houston, that defense, they've got such a great defense, such nasty pass rushers, talent everywhere, and that travels on the road. The defense travels regardless of the conditions, regardless of where. Steelers should have a nice year. I don't think they're good enough to knock off the Texans, though, regardless of where the game's played. I know Pittsburgh's at home, so I like Houston in this.
J-Lo, take it home.
It's going to be an ugly game for sure, because to me, I'm just not sold on Pittsburgh's offense. Their defense is phenomenal, but Houston's got the better defense. I like Houston on the road, beating Pittsburgh in their house.
So a lot of lone wolves there, but a fun little split in all the games. I think the only two games we clean swept were the Rams and the Patriots. That sounds right.
Yep.
So there you go. Every other game, we at least had somebody out there. Like I said, to me, I think it's going to be all great games, but Bears-Packers to me is a one to watch. If you could only choose one, Bears-Packers is going to be put on your boxing gloves and fisticuffs and go battle the battle. Ben Johnson, Matt LaFleur, Caleb Williams, Jordan Love, Jimmy P, Brett M. Just a lot of battles to be had out in the fisticuffs land today. But I can't remember, and I'm not just saying that, outside of Rams, Panthers, which still could be a good game. Usually you have like 3 games where it's like, this will probably happen. I truly think every game's pretty much a coin toss outside of the Panthers-Rams game, which I give advantage to the Rams. But it's time for final word and breadwinners of the program. J-Lo, kick us off. Final word, breadwinner. Are you about to go to Disney and find Mike McDaniel?
Maybe. I mean, I might just step out of work, and take a peek, see if he's over there, come on down. But no, I'm going to enjoy some of the NFL playoff games. I'm not going to care for the Panthers one because I know they're going to get their ass handed into them. But as far as breadwinner, give me Florida basketball against Tennessee at home. Florida, when they're at home in the home court, I like them. They're getting some redemption now, beating some of these ranked teams. Go Gators.
J-Lo got Florida NCAA basketball spread as his breadwinner. Cats, if you have a bet of the weekend, who say you? And what's your final word on the Bucs OC search or anything that we might have talked about in the world of sports?
Yeah, I don't have a breadwinner here. Believe me, I don't like to pick my own team. So as much as I think the Lightning are going to win tonight and make it 9 in a row, I'm not going to pick them because I don't like to jinx them. Final word. Hopefully the Bucs, fans don't panic about, if you don't like the first 2 interviews, because you got to cast a wide net, and that's something to remember. And they're not going to do anything knee jerky probably and hire someone within the next 3 days or 4 days or even the next week, probably. So you have to be patient and hopefully the Bucs get the right guy because frankly, a lot of jobs depend on it.
Yeah, my breadwinner, I'm just going to give a quick one before Joey's final thoughts. I'm bumping the San Fran spread to 7.5. And if you bet 20 on that, that would still win you $13. So give me San Fran plus 20.5 on the bumped spread. I don't think they lose by more than a touchdown. Could be wrong, though. You know, I've been wrong before, but we are doing really good on our overall year. My final word is fire the damn cannons. Have faith in the OC search. They'll interview more candidates, surely. Before we get to Joey, my last word is enjoy the playoffs today, tomorrow, and Monday. Try your best. Get some bets in. We know bets are made during football season mainly. So be sure to enjoy your last little weekend last couple weekends of gambling. Joey, take it home on the final word and breadwinner, my friend.
Final word is it sucks to talk about the playoffs and your team's not in it. All of our teams here were frustrated. So hopefully,
I wonder what the odds were when Colts were 7-1 and Bucs were 6-2. The odds had to be insane if you were to say neither made the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. And that's probably what's most frustrating. And we both got to where we did for different reasons. But yeah, that'd be my final word on that is just, let's find a way to get back on the hump. So a year from now, we can be talking about our teams and predicting these games instead of coordinators or other bullshit like that. And then my breadwinner, I'm going with the over in Rams Panthers. I know you said maybe a little bit about weather could be quirky, but I think Panthers are going to have to come from behind a lot. So there'll be a lot of passing at some point. So I'll go the over in Rams Panthers and enjoy the football weekend because us Bucs and Colts fans, we'll be enjoying it, but low-key, our mind's already in 2026 NFL season.
And we only got 2 Monday night football outings left on the year. Playoffs this week, college football next week. So football sadly winding down, guys. Just keep getting your fill in. And then, we'll get to the offseason, Bucs fans, Colts fans, and the rest of us out there, college and NFL-wise. It was a fun one, guys. A lot of good convos, a lot of good back and forth, a lot of good talk there. Joey Nips, A-Cats, J-Lo, Tampa Tones here, Stunna, Zach, and the rest of the gang couldn't be here, but we will be back Monday on the Buccateers on a Man Cave Monday. Until then, fire the damn cannons. Gene Deckeroff, thank you as well. Awesome exit interview. So thank you to Gene. Fire the cannons. We'll see you next time. Bro, we'll put it like that. What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Co's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And,
Awesome.
It was a great game. You could hear me on camera. I was just screaming, "Say it ain't so, Co! Say it ain't so!" Sadly, from there, the game kind of went off the rails a little. That was the last high moment of that game, but it was a great game. Overtime loss, fun time.
Yeah.
But how was that moment for you? Seeing the first, whether it was on TV, in person, wherever you were, seeing his first NFL touchdown. How was that?
Well, dude, I mean, we were at home because it was a away game. We don't travel to a lot of the away games because we can get into that later. But, to watch that and to think I wished I was there live. So to have your video was so cool. And just that, hey, this is so cool. I mean, that was so cool for us. Catching it from Tom Brady, right? Like, he's got the ball yet. I mean, first NFL touchdown means a lot, right? I mean, as a dad, that's so cool to see. And it's just, it was fun to watch. And, it didn't have the outcome we wanted, but still the same. What a memory. What a memory to have, right? So,
and honestly,
cool.
those one of the best guests ever, the Buccateers in the house. You guys hear him on Tampa radio all the time. He's one of the best in the business. My favorite personal in the business. That's why I'm elated tonight. Growing up in the Chicago area, you're used to sports radio. That's what gets me through the day. So this man does help get me through the day, I will say, with the Pat and Aaron show at work. Nothing like it. So it's incredible. It looks like we got Stunna bumbling in. I'm Tampa Tones.
We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Gonna put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like you got a little.
No, my camera's broke.
And he was trying to pull me in big time. And then I was like, hey, nothing's happened with Indianapolis yet. Like, I really want to give Indy a chance. And then also I talked to Cody Gruden, once he took over Rich McCannum, still like, well, look, I was like, y'all just give me the opportunity to explore free agency, see what's going on, and then kind of make us do it.
All right, everyone, you are tuned into the Buccateers at wide receiver, Kalen Geiger, and we are about to have a great pod. This is the Buccateers, your taps.